And three, two, one.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to the Narcissistic Music Disorder, episode 121.
So, first of all, it's good to see you, buddy.
You too.
Second of all, I'm in the middle of a bout of health issues with this COVID thing, man. I got COVID um
Six
last
days
Wednesday,
ago?
not quite that. Let me think. So I was testing every day. Like Quinn got it, and I was testing every day because I had stuff to do. I had a gig. Well, I saw you that Sunday at the gig. Remember? I'm like, hey man,
Yes.
stay back. I'm
Yep.
like, because I'm like, Quinn's got COVID. I don't want to throw this around. I tested negative that day. That was Sunday. Tested negative on Monday and went to a rehearsal, American Hair Band rehearsal that night. Sang, we worked out that everything's cool. We're great. We had a gig coming up that Wednesday. I was going to fill in on guitar for Bruce, our guitar player, and sing.
Oh, yeah.
I was really excited, built a cool little rig, sounded good. We were all like, cool, man. We're set. This is going to be great. Woke up Tuesday after that rehearsal, and I'm like, man, I don't feel right. And sure enough, dude, boom, I got it. And my last test was, I don't know, a day ago, and I was still positive for it, and you can test for a while when it's out of your system, I guess. It's not out of my system. So I haven't been sick. Like you and I were just talking. We're both former drinkers. We both know what it's like to waste a whole day, 2 days even,
Yeah.
where you just can't do anything. And I don't know about you, what your story's like, but I had gotten used to that life where I knew, like on Sundays, I was going to feel shitty until probably noon when I could start drinking comfortably again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everybody's going to frown if you're cracking, in mixed company. If you're cracking a beer at 8:30 in the morning, people tend to frown.
Right. Yeah.
So by noon, I knew, okay, dude, by 1:30, I'm going to have a half pint in me and things are going to level out. I'll switch over to beer and I'm going to roll.
A lot of my buddies were watching football, so it was that they were
Dude, it was,
drinking beer anyway.
and it was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Those were great times for me. Any holiday, any sporting event. Fuck, dude, I watched football for a while. And not that I didn't like it, because it was fun to watch, like the Lions. But the beauty was you could drink the whole time
Yes.
and nobody said anything. But
Nobody said
anyhow,
anything about drinking on a Sunday night. Yeah.
right. Or getting loaded. I mean, loaded. That was
Super
Sundays where
Bowl
my dad.
parties were.
Oh my God, dude. I would drink at, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but fuck kids' birthday parties. I didn't
Oh,
care.
me too.
Dude, hey, Billy's turning 2 years old, I brought a case and shots. Yeah. But anyhow, it's felt like my life has gotten to a place, praise God, not to harp on this sobriety thing, because I don't give a shit if you drink or do drugs, whatever makes you happy. But for me, my life has gotten to a place where I don't feel like this. I don't get sick. And I was sickly, dude. It seemed like every couple of weeks back in the day, I would have a cold or I'd get this or I'd that. I just don't get sick. So this has been terrible.
Andrew Combs has a song called Emily. And in the song, he says, I brought a keg of beer to the birthday party of the 4-year-old twins next door.
Yeah, right. That's what I would do. That's me. See, totally gets it. So anyhow, it's been horrible. It's a horrible time. My wife has her broken foot, of course, so she's immobile. She breaks her foot a week later. My son gets COVID. 3-4 days after that, I get COVID. She's still testing negative, but she said she feels weird today. We've just been up against it. So this morning I woke up, I'm like, man, we got the podcast to do, and I haven't been feeling great. But the normalcy is kind of nice. It's nice to be back here. So thank God we're able to do this, and hopefully I don't fall asleep in the middle of it. So anything new and exciting? Have you been out doing it? You've been to some great shows. You came to Sunday to see me play. I mean,
I saw you play.
that had to be
Yep.
amazing for you. Up close like that too. What a treat for you.
Friday, I'm going to Chevelle.
Oh, you love Chevelle.
Yeah,
They're
my
like one
favorite.
of your favorite bands. Yeah.
Yes. First time seeing them, so I'm pumped.
Where's that at?
20 Monroe.
Oh yeah, cool. That'll be a cool spot.
Let's see. I've been listening to a lot of the new Black Crowes.
Oh, good. Happiness Bastards. Are you
Yes,
getting into it?
I like it. Yes.
I do too. It's not groundbreaking. It's not amazing.
No,
It's
it's just
solid.
good, solid.
Yep.
I've been listening to album from Judah
Okay.
from 2012. The Italian, they're like 70s glam.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Which I saw recently, like I think it was Spin or one of the magazines. They gave Joe Elliott like 50 pounds or whatever, and he got to go to a record store and buy some albums with that money. And he bought like Mata Hoople and some other stuff, but they asked him what he was listening to right now, and he said Judah. I was like,
Wow.
fucking A, cool.
Yeah, he's Joe. Have you heard the new Leopard tune?
Um,
1972 or 3. It's one of those two. I can't remember. It's a year. It's 72 or 73.
I don't
Um,
think so, no.
it's not bad, dude. It's pretty cool. It's they're now away from the Mutt Lang thing. They're like more going for like almost 70s glitter now. That's
Yeah.
kind of their thing. And it's cool and I like it. And I've been watching since I've been bedridden. I've been watching a ton of these. Def Leppard probably have do one of the coolest YouTube, like they did behind the stadium tour. They're doing behind the world tour right now. It's backstage stuff, but they're just so cool. It's cool to see their operation. All those guys are super cool. Um,
Yeah.
like I love Phil Collin and Rick Sat. All those guys are really fun. Vivian Campbell has been rubbing me the wrong way, but I can't figure out why. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I love Joe Elliott. Maybe I'm just missing Steve. I don't know. But anyhow, um, so all that aside, what's our topic today,
Bluesy rock albums.
dude? This is you. I think we both live here to some
Yeah.
degree.
Oh yeah. I'm
Um,
surprised it took this long.
I know, and it's my list. As good as I think it is, it sucks because I know it's not all encompassing. I know it's missing so much stuff. It's hard to define what blue, because to me, even though I'm not a quote unquote fan, I think Joe Bonamassa is blues rock. I don't think he's a straight
Absolutely.
blues artist, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so that's really tricky. And then it's the idea of blues infused rock and blah 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 blah. So this has been tough for me. There's going to be a couple albums on here that I have on here already. Everybody on earth knows I have them already. And then hopefully some surprises too. Um, so I don't know, man. Let's fire it up. What's your first one?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere from Slash.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, you could put Gilby's records on too.
You could,
Like
yeah.
Pawn Shop
Pawn Shop
Guitars and
Guitars, yeah.
wow. So that's good. So Slash. Okay, Guns N' Roses. Let's go to Guns N' Roses. Appetite crossed my mind. It crossed my mind to put on my list, but it's not really bluesy rock. I mean,
It's
it's
sleaze more.
right, right.
Yeah.
And I'll get busted on it. So what's so good about the Slash record? Because I have not listened to a lot of solo Slash.
Slash is very bluesy. I mean, he has the Slash's blues ball, and he loves Hendrix. He loves all what's his name? God, he plays on his record. Leslie West.
Oh yeah, yeah, for Mountain.
So Slash is influenced by those guys, and that record is just super bluesy. Eric Dover sings on it.
Right.
Gilby plays on it. I think a lot of the guys from Guns play is his band on there.
What do you think about like between like Slash is I think a bluesy player.
Yes.
Do you think without Slash, do you think he was the kind of the 86 era? You think he brought that bluesiness back? Were we losing that in rock and roll, you think?
Yeah, he did. I think that he Guns N' Roses wouldn't be the same without him.
Well, and don't you think that Guns N' Roses, like when Appetite came out, when they got big, they changed, and I know they did because some of my favorite bands, I could see the change happen where they brought that bluesy street. Because even my boys, a lot of my glam boys, the Poisons and the Motleys and the whomevers, when Guns hit, you could see those guys adjust to be more like Guns. You'd hear it. They'd be like, well, for this album, we've stripped down our look.
Yeah.
Um, which kind of met. Not that Guns N' Roses. It's funny because people are like, well, the guys in Guns N' Roses, they just wore their street clothes. Well, maybe that's what they wore on the street, but those aren't street clothes. I mean, dude, Izzy, the way they weren't dressing like t-shirt and jeans either. They didn't dress like Nirvana.
No,
They had dialed it back a little bit. To me, they always Guns N'
Tesla was a
Roses.
t-shirt and jeans band.
Tesla did look like dudes I went to school with. Kind of back then, they didn't even make them. I mean, you had to order them, but like skinny jeans, those white high tops. I mean, the dudes in
Yeah,
Tesla and like modern day cowboy are dressed like that.
yeah,
Brian Wheat and those guys. But I think Guns did make the bluesy thing happen. I mean, they made after Appetite came out, everybody was, because if you look, and I'll get the years wrong, but like Girls, Girls, Girls would be around Appetite. That was a bluesy, stripped down kind of affair. They toned their look down for the Girls, Girl Motley. That is.
yeah,
Um. So yeah, I agree with you. And the solo Slash stuff, I think, gave him the opportunity to explore that side of him more. His bluesier, without Axel's. I mean, Freddie Mercury, for lack of a better,
yeah.
Axel's kind
I
of
mean, he got Miles Kennedy to sing on some of his stuff. He's had Eric Dover. I'm not a huge Miles Kennedy guy. A lot of
I'm not
people love
either.
him.
I'm not either.
I don't have anything against him. It's just
It's not
not
your
for me.
thing. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Great singer, but
Yeah.
yeah, doesn't do much for me. Not that he's not great. So yeah, so I'm gonna go then. I'll go just to kind of piggyback off yours. I'll go to the 1992 self-titled Izzy Stradlin record. Izzy Stradlin and the Juju Hounds.
Juju Hounds. Yeah.
Um, that is a blues rock record. That is, again, we've said it on this show a lot. And I say it publicly a lot, but you know, the two members of Guns N' Roses that make Guns N' Roses are Steve Nadler and Izzy Stradlin. You wouldn't think that. You would always go Axl and Slash, that classic combination. But nothing moves the same way without Izzy's guitar and Steve Nadler's drums. Steve
Yeah.
Nadler is, again, I sing his praises all the time. This Juju Hounds record, I mean, you remember when Shuffle It All came out?
Yeah. I love
The
that.
single. Oh my God, dude. That
Cutting a
opening.
rug.
Yeah, dude. Somebody knocking is
Yep.
killer. They do that cover, the Ronnie Wood song. Take a look at the guys on there. And it's Izzy. I think he's got a cool voice, I think he sings cool. He's not, he's certainly not he's not some Celine Dion vocal wizard or anything, but his voice fits the songs. The other thing that's really cool that I had heard, and I'm going to get all of this story jacked around, but it was like Izzy had heard. I was just watching something, probably Otis Gibbs, and someone was talking about touring with Guns N' Roses and what those guys were listening to. And
Oh yeah.
someone was like, all Izzy listened to was the debut from the Georgia Satellites over and over again. It's like that was constantly playing. And
Okay.
then when Izzy forms his band, he gets Rick Richards, who's the guitar player for the Satellites, who is another one of those unsung guitar hero dudes, man. He is the shit.
Yeah.
He was great in the Satellites. He's the guy who sings
Battleship Chains.
Battleship Chains.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And so Izzy puts together the Juju Hounds. He gets Rick Richards, who's
Yep.
the man, Izzy on guitar. And the other kind of secret thing in there is he had oh God, now I'm gonna Cholo is his nickname, but Charlie Quintana on drums.
Oh, on drums.
Who played
passed.
in who passed and who played in Social Distortion. Yeah. What a cool band, man. And what a cool band. So yeah, my first pick was Izzy's, kind of coming off your Slash thing, is Izzy Stradlin's debut record. Izzy's still the man, still the coolest guy to ever be in Guns N' Roses. What do you got next?
Taj Mahal, self-titled.
I knew you'd have cool stuff like that. I'm gonna throw out one to make you think I'm cool.
And this morning I was listening to it and I said to my wife, I was like, this record sounds so good for like 1968 or 69 when it came out. It sounds awesome. And I wasn't sure of this, but I said, man, it sounds like Ry Cooder. I wonder if Ry Cooder plays on this record. And I
And it
looked and he
and
does.
right. See, that's the NMD thing that you I've told the story. What a killer ear you've developed. But you and I talk about this a lot, right? Where you and I do a thing a lot where we're like, I think Butch Walker had a hand in this, or
Yeah.
right? So Taj Mahal is again someone I have very little familiarity with, although have
I have that
seen.
record. So
Okay, yeah, it's just
it's
what
so
you said.
good. It's a lot of covers, I think. And that's, Taj Mahal is the dude.
Song
That's his
interpreter.
like a stage name type of
Yeah,
thing.
yep, a
Um,
song
but
interpreter.
Rye plays the guitar on that record, and it's just his covers on there are he does Statesboro Blues
Great song.
and just all kinds of stuff. And he's got that old bluesy, like, get that thing, get that, just
Yeah,
play that guitar. Just
that authentic. Yeah,
yeah.
you do it very well too. That's
Kind of like
everybody.
Miles, that little
Right.
that rasp. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that is killing that rasp.
So I
That's true
love,
though.
yeah,
Go
that
out.
Taj Mahal record is, I don't know who plays drums or anything else on that record, but it sounds fantastic for, I think, 69 when it came out.
Timeless. Yeah. And that's the other thing about the bluesy rock thing is I don't know why this is, but a good blues based rock and roll record never sounds dated, dude. Like you
Yeah,
can listen to Appetite for Destruction right now, and that doesn't sound weird or there's no pew pew pew
right.
keyboard effects or this kind of thing or weird reverbs. It all sounds pretty natural, and that's what makes it timeless, I think. So just so you'll think I'm cool, but truly a record that I'm gonna be embarrassed. Everybody's gonna know how I figured out. But I've got Getting Ready by Freddie King.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Freddie King, dude, again, I want to be like, I've been listening to Freddie King since no, I was not. I like one Freddie King song. It was Going Down. It was the theme to Eastbound and Down, the funny
Okay.
TV show. I'm going down. So I was like, man, I learned it. I had a little 3-piece band that was going to play it, but it's all the stuff. It's that. So I got the album. I got this record and it's got, Tore Down on it. I'm tore down.
Hmm.
All these standards. Dust My Broom is on there, which,
Yep. That's
Cream
on
has
the
come.
Taj Mahal record also.
Yeah, there you go. Key to the Highway is on there. The thing about Freddie King is I think I'd read a story that at some point right around this record, they had decided they were going to pitch him to rock audiences. And
Yeah.
that's why, Going Down is heavy, man, and distorted and cool and biting 335 thing. I just Freddie King to me is a blues artist who they went, let's get some rock and roll in the blues
Yeah,
and
there was three of
pitch it.
them, right? Wasn't it Freddie King, BB King, and
Albert King.
Albert King? Didn't
Yeah,
they
the
do a
Kings.
record like Three Kings together?
Could be. I can pick BB King out of a musical lineup. I can hear BB King style. I can certainly hear Freddie King style. Albert King not as much.
I have a
But
Freddie King all instrumental record that you'd probably dig.
I like his playing. I like his note choice. I like how long he hangs on a note, especially in like Going Down, that opening up.
Are you
It's just
familiar with
killer.
someone else from that same era? And I believe, um, but Joe Tex.
I know the name. That's it.
Yeah, he's his most famous song is it was in Reservoir Dogs. I gotcha.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
don't think I know
Uh,
it.
It's
I don't
yeah,
think I
it's in
know.
the song, it's in the movie Reservoir Dogs.
Hmm. I'll have to check it out. And you said it was Joe Tex?
Joe Tex is awesome, yeah.
Cool. What you got next?
What did I have? JJ Cale, Naturally, his
Yep.
debut record.
There's another name. There's
Probably
another
the most
songwriter.
underrated guy in the blues game that gets named, under name checked
Right.
because everybody copied him.
But everybody who matters in the genre, I guess, not matters, but the big names, JJ Cale comes up all the time.
Yeah.
Like yeah. which again is, I don't know what, like,
Cocaine, is not Clapton's.
no, it's Kale's. There's,
And Call Me the Breeze is not Skinner's. And,
I wonder what that
Clyde is
life is
not
like.
Waylon Jennings
I wonder
or
what that life is like. Like, if that's okay. If JJ Cale went,
he
I'm
does not
cool.
like the limelight.
Yeah,
So,
well, then that's perfect, right?
yeah,
That's perfect.
walk out to the
Um,
mailbox and get a check.
yeah, right, right, right. And probably be able to, with your name, play almost any gig you would want, I
I
would think,
mean, this record though, and naturally, they're just, I mean, beautiful stuff.
they're
JJ
the blue.
Cale is the Duke.
Again, name checked by anyone who matters, I think. Really. JJ Cale comes up a lot. I'm going to go, I mean, I might as well get my predictables right out of the way. Certainly 1972's Exile on Main Street's
Yeah, I knew
one of
it.
the,
Yep,
that's got to be one of the greatest bluesy rock and roll records ever made.
absolutely.
It still has those, it still has like the Stones and Zeppelin. And I remember like early on when they would call it, and Aerosmith did this too, a blues. Like, let's
Yeah,
do a blues, right? Which was that 12 bar progression, kind of that standard form. But Exile still has that stuff, you know. It still has those real basic bow down, pom pom kind of blues things, and it's, but it's also got, Tumbling Dice is on there,
yeah,
and I mean, pound for pound, rock and roll songs. Rocks Off, the opening cut on
yep,
Exile, is the shit. I mean, the Crows covered it on 1972. Um, I mean, that's a great song. Plus, they had Jim Price and Bobby Keys on horns, so you had the blues, the more expanded blues too. With some horns. There was
right.
piano all over that record. Nicky Hopkins, I'm sure Ian Stewart played on it. Um, Everybody who knows me knows that Exile on Main Street is my single most greatest blues rock record there is. I'm still looking for those sounds. I still want songs to sound like the songs on Exile, even when it comes down, and they do a
Yeah.
ballad.
If
Um, it's killer.
speaking of that made me think of something you're saying, Exile on Main Street. If we had to come up with a all-time desert island top 10 albums, how long would you need, like a year to prepare that episode?
Dude, what would I say? I mean,
Top 10.
it changes though for me sometimes. Like,
But it
if I'm
can't.
at, oh God, man, I'd be
If would you need
screwed.
like a year? Would you have to agonize over it for a year?
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Because
I
what
read
if
a
I did,
book not too long ago and the guy did his all-time desert island top 10. Said it took him 14 months. And
well,
he
and that's,
agonized over some of them. Just
dude, what am I going to, I mean, I have so many boxes that would have to be checked. Like, I need singer songwriter, folky shit. I need that, but I need full
mhm.
blown rock and roll guitars
But
and
you
big
can
drums.
get that. See,
Well, that's the thing.
that's
That
where you'd have to incorporate like you could get your bluesy and you could get your folk from like the freewheeling Bob Dylan.
but I was just gonna say, dude, and you could get. I mean, you could get as heavy as you want. I mean, Freddie King is heavy and bluesy, and I mean, it'd be tough for me. I mean, because I'm still gonna need some good time rock and roll, but I'm still gonna need something when I'm depressed. But I still got to hear Dobro. Yeah, we could
It
get in a
would take
rabbit
like
hole
a
here.
year at
It
least.
would take me forever. And when the list was done, I would submit it to the ruler of the island I was on, and then I'd be like, shit, I forgot to put Lucinda Williams on there or something. You know what I mean? I'd be so let's think. Where were we at?
I'm
Is it
gonna steal one
you?
from you, I bet, right
I'm
here.
gonna be
So
you better be careful. I need this. Go ahead.
the baddest of George Thorogood.
Oh God, dude, no. No, I don't have any Thorogood on here, which is crazy because I was just listening to his live album, dude. And rocking the. I sent a buddy a text. I'm like, dude, my friend had 3 albums growing up, right? 3, 4 record vinyl
Mm-hmm.
albums. He wasn't into it, just wasn't his scene, man. but he had like some Van Halen and he had some other cool shit he got from his sister, and he had Thorogood live.
Okay.
Dude, you just forget George Thorogood. I forget George Thorogood because it's a caricature, right? I drink alone. If you don't start drinking, one
Yeah.
bourbon, one schedule will be drink, 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 drink. I get it, dude. I totally get it. But you forget, man, killer slide player, killer tone.
But then if you only concentrate on the drinking songs, you're missing out on Gear Jammer.
Dude, you're missing out on his Chuck Berry covers.
And yeah,
Um, you know, um,
and like
what's the one
songs
he
like Born to Be Bad and
oh god, man. Um
just
his I mean, I would say a good portion of the world considers Who Do You Love to be a George Thorogood song. They consider um Move It On Over to be a George Thorogood song, right? I mean, he's
even
taken
One
those.
Bourbon.
He's a George. It's the version that 9 people out of 10, and it was on one of our prior drinking songs or something. But
Yeah.
you know,
He made it better. He added
exactly.
verses. It's killer.
Yes, it's killer. And plus, and I couldn't name a member, dude. Not a single member of the Delaware Destroyers. But
I
that's a rock
couldn't
and roll band.
either.
That's a rock and roll band. I was just wanting to share Thorogood with my son because the drums are so good and so shuffly and
Did you ever
plus,
see him live?
dude, I feel like I did. I feel like later, like at
I
Muskegon Summer
saw him in
Celebrate,
like
I think I
90.
reviewed him. I think I reviewed him for the Chronicle.
I saw him in like 90 or 91 at the Club Eastbrook. And then I saw him at Valdu Lakes with Troll for Trout.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Was he good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like mid 90s, probably
And
later 90s to mid 90s with Troll
I
for
would
Trout.
say I was later 90s, and I'll have to look, but I feel like I reviewed him.
Does
I feel like
do anything besides local stuff, or do they
they
just
have a
not?
bar. I don't think my last time
They
at
don't have the
Valdu
big
Lakes, I
stage.
don't think they do the big stage down the hill
That's a
there
bummer.
anymore. I know because that's where I saw the Allman Brothers and Aerosmith.
I saw
All
Tesla
those
and
bands.
Badlands there.
Dude, Guns N' Roses played there. The Clash of the Titans played there. Megadeth, Anthrax.
Motley Crue, yeah.
Yeah, right. Crew on Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
That was a big
I
tour.
think
They
on
used
Shout at the Devil too.
Oh, really? That
I
early?
think they
Wow.
played Valdu at Shout at the Devil also.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what a great venue we lost. Yeah, good one. Thorogood, man. I don't even know what I don't know. I love when he covers You Can't Catch Me by Chuck Berry. Um all the, he's a great slide. Yeah, George Thorogood's
There was a big Thorogood fan, and I was kind of surprised is
who
Mrs. NMD. She loves Thorogood.
really good.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool. So, it's standard stuff. It is. It's standard constructed bluesy rock, but it's a blueprint for it for sure. And that's just who I put in the same family as George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers? Huey Lewis and the News. Just good solid rock and roll bands. You go see, they play 4 hours in a bar and it'd be kick
Pat
ass.
Travers too.
Pat Travers, well put. Yep. Yep. There's some of those guys who just are consistently great. They have great bands. They play great songs. Yeah. You never really hear, like, you would hear of a shitty Guns N' Roses or a shitty tons of shitty Aerosmith live gigs or what. You never hear someone go, I went and saw Huey Lewis. It wasn't very good. Or I saw George Thorogood. It was kind of shitty. No, you never hear that.
No.
Never. All right. Good. That's a great one, by the way. I'm going to move on to, again, this is going to be in my predictables, and then I should get to some, maybe got one more super predictable, but it goes without saying, the Southern Harmony and Musical Companion by the Black Crowes is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece record. Always will be. Timeless record. Some of the greatest recorded guitar sounds, some of the greatest playing, everything, the ballads, Bad Luck, Blue Eyes Goodbye, Thorn in My Pride.
B&B with a little weed.
I've just been listening to different covers of especially Warren Haynes, the Mule, covering Sometimes Salvation, which is one of my favorite Crows tunes. Remedy was the big hit on there. I have so many fond memories of it. Changed my life. It did. The Southern Harmony Musical Companion, that debut, I was already a huge t-shirt wearing first album, Black Crows, Shake Your Moneymaker guy. I was 100% in. The song that hooked me was Jealous Again. I'm like, if this is, it was on Headbangers Ball, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? I could have seen Corrosion of Conformity and something, and then this video came with they look like the old school faces.
Yep.
Dude. So I was in. By Southern Harmony, though, when Southern Harmony came out, I loved Remedy. But the Sting Me was on there.
Yep.
I named a band after a line in Hotel Illness. I named a band after that. It was all I wanted to be. To this day, I mean, I'm an old man, and if you called me tomorrow and we're like, dude, we need a guitar player for our band, it's like this. It's Southern Harmony Musical Companion era Black Crow style. I would leave. I'm in right now because that just. Plus, it was where, unless you were, I know Mark had a 80s band, Burning, Mark Ford's band. I can't think of what they were called now, and I'm embarrassed for myself. But anyhow, for me, I heard Mark Ford on the Southern Harmony. And I liked Jeff Cease a lot. I thought Jeff Cease was a great guitar player on that first record. No offense to Jeff Cease, who is a fine player. Again, I think playing with Eric Church still. But Mark Ford was next level. Mark Ford is a blues. He's a blues guitar player. He deserves his spot wherever he is. On the Southern Harmony, I mean, come on, dude. They looked killer. They sounded killer. All the guitar players, half that shit was tracked live, dude. That's them playing. It's not like, oh, I got to put these 600 overdubs. They're playing in a room, man. That's in a room. So, yeah, that's always going to be, I mean, I could almost say, dude, when I die, if someone wants to chuck a copy of Southern Harmony in the box, that wouldn't be the worst thing. That wouldn't be the worst thing.
And Born to Run. So
shit, dude. Yeah.
I have a live at the Hollywood Bowl DVD of Ben Harper with Mark Ford playing guitar. Have you ever seen that?
No. Is it killer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mark Ford, man. He's Mark Ford. He played with Lucinda Williams recently.
Yep.
I just love him. Burning Tree was the name of his band from the strip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you got next, man?
Bipolar Blues from Richie Kotzen.
I knew you'd have Kotzen on here.
Yeah, he did
the biggest Richie Kotzen fan I know.
It's all covers, except for the last song, which is called like Richie's Blues. But yeah, he just does a whole bunch of covers. He does like The Thrill Is Gone, Tobacco Road,
cool.
They're Red Hot, Tied to You. It's freaking awesome.
And does he play
from Four Till Late? He plays and sings
accordingly. Does he play accordingly?
Yes.
And what I mean is, for a guy like Richie Kotzen.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't Billy Sheehan it at all.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna use "Fooled Around and Fell in Love," right?
No, he doesn't.
And we all love. I mean, I love Billy Sheehan's man. I love Billy Sheehan, but
me too. But you know how he can overplay it.
Oh, big time. He did it on that cover.
He can Jim carry it or whatever you want to say. Overact it. Overplay it.
Right. Yep. Too much is too much. Yeah, Kotzen's the man. Watching Richie Kotzen's old because
you sent me that video not too long ago.
We were all big into this
from series. Guitar Player.
Yes, Hot Licks videotapes. You'd order them.
Yeah.
Like you'd order them, dude, and wait 6 weeks and the shit would come and you'd learn from it. I was big on the Paul Gilbert ones. I mean, I still have exercises I got from that. But the Kotzen and he just hadn't become Richie Kotzen yet. I don't know where that happened.
That was the first thing I ever heard was like a guitar, one of those magazines. They had like sampler CDs back in the day they'd put in there.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like Hot Rails or something by Richie that I heard. It might not have been Hot Rails, but it was something early from Richie. And I was like, what's this? And that's how I got into him.
And I don't know how.
Because I was into Racer X and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Paul Gilbert and Bruce Boulez.
Yeah.
I actually remember, I think it was.
It wasn't Racer X Jason Becker?
No, you're thinking Cacophony.
No, I'm Cacophony with Marty. Yeah.
Yeah, Marty Friedman and Jason Becker. I got into Richie because thank you, MTV, when you were cool for a hot second. I saw the video for Motherhead's Family Reunion.
Oh yeah, from
And
the '94 record.
and
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm buying that. And
that was like
then
Pete Crow's era, so he kind of looked that style too.
he looked so cool, dude. He looked cool as could be. He had his long straight hair. Oh God.
Yep,
And
the black hat and
then the next thing I knew, the dude was in. To me, Richie Kotzen is like shreddy. Not that the dude I'm going to mention is not shreddy because he can shred around anyone, but he's like, for me, Richie Kotzen is shreddy Prince. You know what I mean? He's very
yeah,
Prince like,
Shreddy
and he
Prince.
and he
Is
was
he an actor?
he exactly wasn't he in Scream or something? Um, he can shred like that, but he's so funky and he plays everything.
He's
And
a
then
rock and roll Daryl Hall.
a gift to me, a big gift to me is he joined Poison, which people still bitch about. He was great in Poison. That Poison record,
Yeah,
Native Tongue with Richie.
they
Um,
grew up.
they grew up. They weren't supposed to. No one wanted Poison to grow up, right?
Right.
But Richie Kotzen's the reason they grew up and were able to do it. Some
The
people will
reason that
still,
record stands the test of time.
and you know, no offense to Brett, you get Brett out of there, put Richie on lead vocals, and it's fine. It's fine record. Um, by the time that there's a, and I know you've seen it, 7 Days Live.
Yeah, I
It's
have it.
that era in England. You look at it first of all, Kotzen. You talk whipping his cool ass hair around. He might be shirtless.
Oh yeah, he's
Maybe just
shirtless
no.
for
He's got
sure.
that velvet vest, and
Oh,
he's so
that's right, he
skinny
does.
and velvet hip huggers. God, he's cool. But Brett Michaels in that videotape looks dated and like the old guard. It looks silly almost. But Kotzen is, and he sings all those sweet harmonies, man.
Yeah,
Oh, killer. All right. So anyhow, now I'm completely lost. Is
it's
it my
you.
pick? It's me. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you had Richie and I went on and on. Um, I'm gonna quick throw this out here. We don't have to talk about it a long time. But to me, bluesy guitar has slide, has some open tuning stuff. So that's why I put Faster Pussycat's debut record on here. It's a blues rock record.
Yeah,
It's you said it earlier though, it might be more sleaze, right?
right.
But you can still, and the other thing is these guys weren't ripping guitar players at all, but they seemed to construct cool solos that I liked and
Yeah.
guitar lines, and it had enough swagger to it. So
Was
I
Brent
always put
Muscat
that
on
in there.
that first record? Was he
Yeah.
only on the
Yep.
first two, or was he on the first three?
First three, I think. I
First
think
three.
he's on the debut. He's on
Wake Me When It's
Wake Me When
Over,
It's
and then
Over and
Whipped.
Whipped. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. And Greg Steele's the other guitar player was great. They did a lot of cool things where Muscat would be on a Strat and Greg Steele would be on a Les Paul. He was always a Les Paul guy. So they had cool
Yeah.
guitar. I've heard about recording this album by Rick Bode or Bodie, whatever the producer, how bad they were musically. They weren't great musicians, but
Yeah,
Rick,
because the Wake Me When It's Over is like, whoa, a step,
right,
a
right.
big step.
Well, and you know, when you're playing the whiskey and the cat house and you're just pounding out these bluesy type progressions, it doesn't, you can play great and they did, but it's a different thing, I mean, they were never going to be Mr. Big. They weren't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So anyhow, what do you got next?
From, well, I just have Little John Chrisley / Michael Lee Firkins,
Which
because
Michael Lee Firkins is a Guitar Hero guy.
yeah, Texas guy. John Chrisley has put out one record that I know of, just self-titled. And it's got it's got him on lead guitar and harmonica. I mean, he's one of the best harmonica players there's, how many can you name check? Charlie McCoy, Magic Dick from
Jay Giles.
Jay Giles, dude from Mickey Raphael. How many can you
Mm-hmm.
name check? But
Not a
he's a
ton.
badass harmonica player. His self-titled album is great. It's got Michael Lee Firkins on guitar. It's got Ansley Dunbar on drums.
Oh wow.
Bunch of people play on it, but he did another record with Michael Lee Firkins and a bunch of guys called the Howling Iguanas, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then they have some tracks on like some shrapnel, like blues compilations.
Yeah, that's
So
where I've heard Michael Lee Firkins' name before. Was
Yeah, I mean,
that
Cactus
Circle.
Cruise is a cool record from Michael Lee Firkins. He's got that blues sound plus that, he's Texas, so he's got that Tex-Mex mixed in there too. Um, yeah, so check out Michael Lee Firkins and Little John Crisley. I don't know, the record might be hard to find. It's just called Little John Crisley. It starts out with oh, what's the song called? I can't remember the name of the song, but it's a total ripoff of the Paul Butterfield Blues Band,
Well,
the first track.
I'm, and I'm glad you said that because in that British blues thing, right? That was so I have a bunch thrown together here in the interest of time and in the interest of, you know, saying Free and Bad Company and Led
Yeah,
Zeppelin and, all that bluesy English, the Stones and I mean, those guys, it was all. I mean, I have Exile, but all that stuff, all that British stuff was just them taking American blues and souping it up and sending it back to us.
yeah,
Um, so I have all those, but then I'm going to jump to this record, which I think is a blues rock masterpiece. Um, I've name checked this band a lot when we're talking about Blackberry Smoke. I think if there's without this band, uh, they were Blackberry Smoke doing the Blackberry Smoke thing before Blackberry Smoke, and it was the Four Horsemen's. Nobody said it was easy.
yeah. I
I
knew
mean,
this was coming. Yep.
that's a killer record, man. It's as bluesy and open G tune and nasty and great vocals, great. I mean, the whole thing is great. I thought they were on the cusp of something big, but they were lacking something, something marketable. The whole look was cool because I liked another band called Raging Slab about this time.
Yeah. The
It
singer was
was
a bit off the rails.
well, he died. I think he
Yeah.
died. Yeah.
He was
They were
he was a bit crazy though. Like,
yeah, that whole band was really. But if you watch like the video for Tired Wings or Nobody Said It Was Easy or Rockin' Is My Business,
yeah.
if you watch those videos, they look like Blackberry Smoke. They
Yeah.
look just like that band. Yeah, I love the Four Horsemen. What do you got next?
From Austin, Texas, Spoon, their latest album called Lucifer on the Sofa.
Really?
Man, I love the band Spoon, but they've always been kind of like an indie pop band. Like, I mean, probably their best record, well, in my opinion, is called Gimme Fiction. I think it's from like 2005, maybe somewhere in there. But this one came out in 2022. It's their loudest record. It's bluesy. It's like indie blues. It's just so freaking good. If you're into the band Spoon, it's a departure. I mean, it's nothing like Gimme Fiction or Ga 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 or anything like that stuff.
Dude, what was the hit Spoon song? There was a hit. And I say hit, but you know what I mean, like a single.
I turn my camera on, maybe?
No, no, I
No,
feel like it was
I'm
something
not
else,
sure
something in
because
Jacket or something, or I might be wrong.
I don't
Maybe I'm
know.
confusing. I'll look it up and we'll talk about it off air. But
But
yeah, that
Lucifer on the Sofa. I think our pal Bruce is into Spoon as well.
oh cool. What am I gonna? I'm grouping in the interest of time. I'm throwing a few things together. I'm gonna say, and he's always credited as a blues artist. Um, but again, it's bluesy rock. If you listen to it, it's more Hendrix than Robert Johnson, I think. But Stevie Ray Vaughan's entire catalog. For me, it was Texas Flood and Couldn't Stand the Weather.
Yeah.
I've told that story about my buddy Robert Hartman and his brother Pat. They were into this stuff, like I said, up hunting that year. That year I was 12, I think. 12 or 13 was the year of both those Stevie Ray records. They also were rocking the Fabulous Thunderbirds a lot then.
Oh
And,
wow.
those bands I loved them all. They also had the Screaming Cheetah Wheelies they were listening to. But anyhow, um, and I'm gonna put with my Stevie Ray Vaughan, I'm also gonna put a band, a super group called the Archangels,
Yep.
which
Charlie Sexton.
was the double trouble, right? So you had Chris Layton on drums, Tommy Shannon on bass, Then you had Doyle Bramhall the second on guitar and Charlie Sexton. And Doyle and
Yeah.
Charlie sang on it. They swapped back. That debut record is really good, dude.
Their new one is their newest one, and latest one is also good. So
I mean, I was so into the Archangels that I have over in the other room like bootlegs of live shows of theirs. And they were just the coolest. And I'm such a Charlie Sexton guy. Everybody knows that about me. So yeah, the Archangels and Stevie Ray Vaughan are representing that Texas blues rock that, I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan single-handedly can be credited with the resurrection of the genre. I think I really do. I think, because your metalheads like Stevie Ray Vaughan, I mean, everybody knew Stevie Ray Vaughan was something special. Although I can remember thinking a little bit as a kid, even like, well, this is just basically Hendrix. Like I had that feeling a little bit, but it was also it was the Texas thing. And I think that you mentioned it a second ago. It's the Tex-Mex thing.
Yeah.
It's why bands from Texas are special, I think, because of that border sound. Because that, I mean, I love, the Sir Douglas Quintet, and I love the Texas Tornadoes and Freddie Fender and Flaco Jimenez. All that stuff is Texas, and that's Stevie Ray Vaughan had that. Plus, he was just such a great player with such conviction. Every note Stevie Ray Vaughan played, he met. He just never seemed to be noodling. He seemed to be channeling.
Right.
Where a lot of those blues guys and Charlie Sexton, say what you will about Doyle Bramhall and Charlie Sexton, but Charlie Sexton's worked with Bob Dylan a long time, and Bob Dylan will burn a guitar player up. You got to be special. So yeah, those two bands. What do you got next?
I have from Shrapnel Records a record called LA Blues Authority, Volume 1.
I remember that record, dude.
And
100% remember that.
It has. So the first track is Baby Please Don't Go with Zach, with basically the Pride and Glory.
Oh, yeah, who I love.
And then the second track is Same Old Blues with, J.J. Cale song. But that has Brad Gillis, Fred Curry, Phil Soussan.
Oh, yeah.
The next track is You Don't Love Me. This is, I think, Willie Cobb's song. Jeff Pilson, Steve Lukather, Richie on lead vocals. And then Messing with the Kid has Glenn Hughes.
Who's a monster.
Rollin' and Tumblin' has Little John Chrisley on lead vocals.
My favorite Rollin' and Tumblin' cover is
George Lynch on lead guitar.
So do you remember the G3 tours? Right?
Yeah.
So I remember at the end of one of those G3s, maybe the first one, they would do like Red House or some
they'd always do
and it would just suck, dude. It just sucked because
I couldn't go to one of those shows.
Oh, I love all those guys. I love Zach. I'm a Vi guy.
It's a whole night of that for 3 hours.
Oh, man. Jesus, dude. I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't. Nope.
Couldn't do it.
And to hear them mangle like Red House with Yngwie Malmsteen, that's just never going to work for me.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not Blind Lemon Pledge. I'm not a blues authority or anything, but
one of my favorite tracks on that record is The Hunter with Fred Curry on lead vocals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fred Curry. There's an underrated dude too who pops up a lot. I'm gonna throw a weird one at you real quick. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Now this is a blues rock record because it harkens back to a lot of our blues rock stuff is Chicago-based blues, right? Is that kind of blues or even Texas blues. There's not a lot of blues rock that is what I'll call hill country blues, like the North Mississippi All-Stars, who I love.
Right.
That's hill country blues. The White Stripes, White Blood Cells, is a hill country blues in the modern world. That's you would hear that stuff if you take a lot of the Jack White sound adventures out of it and strip it down. It's juke joint stuff. It's Mississippi blues. And that album, White Blood Cells, really hit me, dude. I really liked that. I was drinking real heavy, and I mean, I remember going to an adult party, like an adult party where adults were enjoying each other's company, and me and my buddy blew in as drunk and high as you could be. And I walked right to their stereo, dude. They were listening to like the Eagles, I remember. And I ejected the Eagles CD and put the White Stripes in. And
Nice.
we until they asked us to eventually, like, we gotta, you guys gotta split. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
that. And we were, for 2 hours, we were like that. I'm
They
embarrassed
wanted
and
to
a
listen
little
to
ashamed.
yacht rock, and you
Well,
guys
they
were
just wanted to have an adult party, and we wanted to have, we wanted to throw their TV out the window or something.
yeah, I've been there.
But yeah, the White Stripes. I think Jack White is definitely a student of the blues, and has done things for that genre that the genre doesn't even know.
I
You know,
yeah, I had Elephant on my list. Not on my
yeah,
final list, but I had it on my
it's a great
list.
record too.
Yeah. I loved Ball and Biscuit from your record. Oh my God.
What's
That
that?
record. Ball and Biscuit,
Oh
that's
yeah,
that track
dude.
is kill.
I and the song that hooked me on the White Stripes was "Dead Leaves in the Dirty
Leaves on the
Ground."
Dirty Ground, yeah.
Ah, what a great record.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had that in there, and then yeah, you go next, because then I'm going to chuck a couple
Cinderella,
together.
Long Cold Winter.
I have Heartbreak Station on my B
Okay.
list.
Yep.
Is Long Cold Winter got Gypsy Road on it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. It's
Yeah.
got Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, which is
Yeah.
their Dream On.
Bad Seamstress Blues, falling apart at the seams. I mean, it starts out super bluesy with that
They were
harmonica, and
they were kicking off shows on that tour. I think the first song was Falling
was
Apart
that.
at the Seams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. I saw that tour. I saw Night Songs. I saw Long Cold Winter, and I think I may have seen Heartbreak Station too. Um, Cinderella, dude.
So
Tom
bluesy.
Kiefer right now is so good.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. To me, Cinderella lives in a place. They're Aerosmith. They were a modern Aerosmith to me.
Cinderella to me is the greatest hair metal band
They're
of all time.
pretty damn good, dude. They could play. They had great. Tom Kiefer is a great
All their
guitar player.
songs weren't just, ridiculous about
No,
ridiculous subjects, and they were
no.
bluesy. They could all play.
How good is the song Night Songs? I mean, that's a
Oh,
great song.
I mean, just yeah, even the first record is that bluesy. They showed you who they are, and then
And
and
they
then
never
Long
really.
Cold Winter, it's like this is really who they are. Okay.
Yeah, I still Kiefer's still playing. We know that he's still got a killer band. He's still
Yeah.
he weathered that
The
storm better than
Higbees.
hardly anybody, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he Tom Kiefer came out of
Yeah, he
that,
didn't
and
try to do a country album and all that shit. He
he
just
always
was
seems
him.
sincere. Like Tom Kiefer seems very sincere. Like,
Yeah.
this is who I am, and yeah, and a student of it. And I have Heartbreak Stations on my list, on my B list. I'm gonna lump my last two together. My first one I'll get kind of just a brief, but the Badlands debut record is a
Yeah.
great blues rock, because Jakey Lee was Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin. I mean, those
Yep.
are his Ozzy albums, and then to come out with Badlands. Anytime you follow the Zeppelin mold, where you have a big, huge pipe singer and a killer guitar player and a tight rhythm section, I'm in. Um, and then again, one of the greatest rock and roll songs is of that era is High Wire.
High
Is
Wire, The
Ray
Last
Gillen.
Time, Winter's
Oh,
Call, all of them.
they so they're that. And then my final one that is very timely for me right now, because one of my favorite bands of all time ceased touring last week and made an
Yeah.
announcement. It's the debut record from Aerosmith, man.
Yep.
Aerosmith's debut record I've had on the show so many times because it's so great. It's I mean, it's those guys were students, man. And they were guys who early on were still playing blues, like this blues or that blues, or that was how Aerosmith found out they were Aerosmith. And then there's a couple different eras of Aerosmith, but the early bluesy rock is the debut record for me. Make It is on there. Good evening, people. Welcome to the show. Got something
Yep.
here? Watch it. Killer. Yeah, and for American bluesy rock bands, there's not much that's going to stand up to Aerosmith.
Walking the Dog is killer on there.
Oh, killer.
Man.
It's and I could see Aerosmith's influence through everything, because the first Aerosmith I got, thank you, Uncle Ricky, was the debut, the 73 debut. And then by the time Rat came out with their EP and Walking the Dog was on it, I knew that they were modeling things after Aerosmith, There were just bands that were going to be
Forgot
like
that's on
that.
there.
And to me, Cinderella, like I said, they have that Aerosmith thing going too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I just love Aerosmith. So my last one was the debut record from Aerosmith, who announced their retirement from touring, and I think I posted, they don't owe me anything, man. They gave me everything they
No.
could. And you know what? If that means I'm not getting another Don't Want to Miss a Thing, I'll be fine. I got I
Yeah.
got those first records. So what's your last one or last couple? I kind of jumped in.
I do have a couple paired together from the Doors. Morrison Hotel and LA Woman are two super bluesy records from the Doors.
You forget how bluesy those guys were.
Yeah.
I do, at least. Because they were art rock too, they were arty too. But yeah, I mean, that organ sound is the blues, man. I mean, really, that B3 kind of sound is the blues. And I don't know, man. Robbie Krieger's a weird dude. He's his own style. And he's a
Yeah.
blues player at heart too, just the way he played it. He's a great, great player. Outside the box kind of guy too. Weird, cool choices.
Yeah, you'd have to be. I mean, all those guys were super weird, and like John is super weird. There's an interview he did not too long ago with Justin Long, the actor.
Sure.
He has a podcast called Life is Short with Justin Long, and he had John Densmore on, and he kept calling him Mr. Densmore.
Right.
And at one point, John goes, "Call me John, God damn it."
It would be hard. It would that though, like the Doors are what we'll call they're Mount Rushmore artists.
Yeah.
They're the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll and bluesy rock and roll and jazzy rock and roll. Right? I
Yeah, I
mean, they've
mean
covered
that
all that.
art rock, jazz rock, it's
Yeah.
cabaret, it's all of
It's
it. It's
poetry, it's the poet thing.
yeah, it's
Yeah, stream of consciousness or whatever. Yeah, very
bossa
cool.
nova, it's all kinds of things. It's well, that's John's influence, the bossa nova, the Brazilian
Yeah,
jazz influence, and it's man. But yeah, LA Woman and Morrison
Morrison
Hotel. I
Hotel.
mean, those two
Classics.
records.
Both been mentioned on the show for sure.
Peace Frog is one of my all-time favorite Doors songs. Maggie McGill, Waiting for the Sun, which is weird that it's not on Waiting for the Sun, but
Yeah, which there you go, artsy, weird rockers. What do you got any extras you had?
I mean, the Temperance Movement, you know that band?
Heard of them.
I think they only put out one record. They're British. It's like think British Dirty Honey.
Oh, cool.
Zeppelin-y, Black Crowsy, yeah.
Which
Like
is really like a euphemism for bluesy rock, right? If you say Crosy or Zeppelin, it's bluesy
yeah,
rock. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Cool.
I mean, Give It to Me by Bonnie Raitt is a record I love. I think it's her first record from 72.
I'm trying to think of
I
if I
love
had
early
any.
Bonnie Raitt. I didn't love everything, but I love the early stuff she did. She's fantastic.
And I
I
still
also
think
had
like,
an early one from the Black Keys called The Come Up.
oh, okay. I
That's a
have North
great.
Mississippi All Stars. Shake Hands with Shorty.
Oh yeah,
Because those guys are. I mean, that's a real straight up. And other bands like the Steepwater Band, who I like. I had Dead String Brothers on my list. Dead String Brothers make, they're, I couldn't even think of the album that I like. It's got,
It's a self-titled one.
maybe, does that have Me Down at Heavy Load on it? And
I
a
think
couple,
so.
that's Exile on Main Street, dude.
Yeah,
That's what
that's the
that is. Yeah.
self-titled one.
Yeah. That's a great record. Great record. And you
The
could do that.
the Stones one I had written down was Sticky Fingers.
Yep. Killer.
And then I had a local, well, Barrel Bones.
Dude, there you go. They're yeah, bluesy, again, strip it down and it's blues based rock and roll. With that big, I mean, they could do the thing where they would go, you'd put Michael up front on just singing, right? He's just singing and he's your Robert Plant. He's got
Yeah.
your big voice. He's your Ray Gillen, and then you've got Pete as your shreddy Joe Perry, Jimmy Page guy too.
Yep.
But they're blues based but intricate. You know what I mean? Like they do
Right.
clever things with the blues. Yeah, great. Barrel Bones would be a great example of a great. And there's a lot of stuff we didn't name that's out there.
Yeah, there's a cool band from Indiana called Left Lane Cruiser that.
Yeah, I played with them.
Yeah, I've seen them at the Tip Top.
I played a gig up here in Ludington at the Mitten with them. Yep.
Super loud and
nobody liked them.
And
they cleared them out, cleared the room out. They were great. They cleared the room out. They're just too fucking loud, dude. You can't be that loud, but they were. Yeah, they're cool.
They're like that band Tiny Tree. They're super loud.
Right. Tiny Tree. I booked them with Barrel Bones up
they're
here too.
So loud.
Yeah, they are brutal, man. They are brutal. Well, and this is where I live, man. Bluesy rock and roll is my thing, and a million things I didn't name, but typically for me, dude, if you put me in a room with Exile on Main Street or something, I'm gonna be cool. I'll be happy. It'll give me everything I need. It's weird enough on the vocal. I mean, I can't help it. Rocks Off is still, I mean, that still hits me. As a matter of fact, when we're done here, I might listen to it just because I'm gonna need some energy. But I'm just glad we were able to, buddy. Thank you for doing this today. It's really gotten me out of this weird spot I've been in. It's been good to do this, and it feels normal. And I'm back at my desk here, and I haven't played guitar in 4 days, 5 days. That doesn't happen in my life.
No.
Not that I'm in it. When I say that, it sounds like, well, Merchant must be practicing every day. Bullshit. I pick it up and I noodle and I play songs I like, and you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate the show. And I don't know, dude, when I get sick, I'm always like, it's reevaluation time. I got to reevaluate everything when I'm sick because I don't stop long enough to do that, which is a flaw in my life, dude.
Yeah.
But this last few days of being able to stop and look at the good things and the bad things, I'm certainly appreciative of you and this show and the folks who listen to it, because it sure is fun to be able to talk about this stuff.
It is.
It sure is fun.
Let us know on our Facebook page. Find us on Facebook, the Narcissistic Music Disorder Podcast, or Google Gmail at nmdpodcast@gmail.com. You can email us.
Yeah, man.
We have, I noticed we have a bunch of listeners in Germany coming up, and
oh, thank you so much.
The US is like #1 in our listeners, but Germany is coming real close to passing France. So come on, Germany.
Nice. Yeah, we appreciate everybody who listens.
Speaking of France, dude, the band Gojira in the opening
Olympic
ceremony.
Dude, so I watched a little bit.
So killer.
Such a controversial thing, right? And for me, I watched a little bit, and we're not political at all, and we're never gonna be. But I'll tell you this, like, as a Christian man, none of it bothered me. As just an old man, it was all too much. Like, it was like all too much for me. Too much was happening.
I don't know why I watched it, because I didn't know they were going to be on, and I'm a fan of the band.
Yeah. So that had to be killer.
I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, is that Gojira? And they're I don't know, some French song. There wasn't a song of theirs. It was a song that they were given to play. It's like a French national song or something.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, I mean, their best album, in my opinion, is called From Mars to Sirius. It's from like '05, but I was just super excited for those guys to get exposure, and good for
Yeah.
France for putting on a metal band. The US wouldn't have the balls to do that.
Well,
So
and a lot of fans of the band spoke out and said how happy they were that they
it
were
was
there and
killer,
so
man. They're gonna
yeah.
tour with Korn, I think, and I'm not a huge Korn guy, but I might go just to see them. They're
Yeah.
freaking their
You know,
latest album, I think, is called Fortitude, from
and I saw the
2018.
ceremony and I just, what I thought was, why aren't they having Faster Pussycat? That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
I mean, there was nothing satanic about it. It was stupid. It was
I don't get it.
Dionysus. It was
Dude, I don't
French.
get into that shit. I don't talk about that shit.
It's
I
just
just
metal.
recent
Just
I
celebrate the fucking band and look past all the other stuff.
well
Come
and
on.
recently in my garage, which is there's no politics or religion discussed in there really. I got into a conversation and when I was done, I felt dirty, dude. And I'm just
Yeah.
old school. You didn't talk about that shit. You didn't go to someone's house and start busting out you know, I mean, if I was, I wouldn't be having dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer in the first place, right? I might be dinner. But what I'm saying is like, if I'm in your home having a meal with you, there's something in you that I see as good and decent and I want to be around. That doesn't factor in.
Right.
If you're a good cat and good people, I'm in. If you're not, well, I don't care for you in the first place. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not qualified for that. I listen to rock and roll records and, I'm trying to stay alive and be happy. And happiness is so elusive to someone like me that I don't have time to focus on anything else because the pursuit of some sort of joyfulness is got to be top in my life or I'll never get it.
And it's right here in music.
It's right here in music. No shit. It's right here in music. Thank you. You got any parting words for us, buddy?
I might go out to California. I might go down to Georgia. I don't know.
See you
See you
later,
later,
everybody.
everybody.